who is or what group is a threat to internal American security. So with that said, let me just go ahead and take a look at a couple of articles here. In this first one, like I said, I always do. I try to mix it up here with my sources, so you know I'm not being biased when I do my research. This is from CNN. Now we all know about the protests in this country that have taken place since the October 7th terrorist attack on Israel. And this is just one example. This is just a few days ago, about a week ago or so, this protest that took place in Los Angeles. Again, CNN, you can see right here, got my notes here for you. This protest took place in Los Angeles, and it is in a very, very heavily Jewish segment of Los Angeles that I'm very familiar with. Pro-Palestinian protests, and again, pro-Palestinian. This is the first phrase in this headline from CNN. It's not pro-Palestinian. I guess it is effectively, but what it is more specifically is anti-Jewish. It's an anti-Jewish protest. Pro-Palestinian protest outside LA synagogue criticized as anti-Semitic after street fights with pro-Israel protesters. This is a June 24th. This is the article, again, from CNN. A pro-Palestinian protest held outside Los Angeles synagogue developed into a chaotic street violence with pro-Israel counter-protesters on Sunday in an incident that several officials, including President Joe Biden, criticized as anti-Semitic. What do you think? The Los Angeles PD said it responded to two protests Sunday in the predominantly Jewish neighborhood of Pico Robertson, just south of Beverly Hills. Videos taken at the scene show police pushing pro-Palestinian protesters away from the entrance of the Adas Torah Temple, an Orthodox synagogue. Now, if it's not anti-Jewish, why didn't the Palestinian supporters protest someplace else? Downtown Los Angeles or Manhattan Beach, any number of places, because they wanted to intimidate the members of the synagogue and, again, prevent them from even entering the synagogue. Chants of free Palestine from the river to the sea and long live Intifada could be heard from among the pro-Palestinian protesters. Participants blocked traffic, and video of the scene shows multiple altercations broke out in the middle of the street on the sidewalks. At the news conference, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass said she plans a meeting with the city attorney's office to talk about the potential for permits for protests, people wearing masks at protests, and establishing clear lines of demarcation between what is legal and what is not legal. What do you mean establishing clear demarcation? Those demarcations already exist, Mayor Bass. You have to have someone go out and do some research to figure out what is legal and not legal. And by the way, as a chief executive officer of the city of Los Angeles, LAPD knows, by the way, this is not a bash on LAPD. LAPD knows exactly what's legal and not legal. The question is what is LAPD allowed to do? What is LAPD encouraged not to do when it comes to this stuff? This is the question. And this is very germane to what I started with about the debate from last week. Protests around the Israel-Gaza war have become common across the United States since October, no kidding. But Democratic officials sharply criticized Sunday's event for its violence and for taking place at a Jewish institution. It's anti-Jewish is what this is. This is hatred for Israel. This is hatred for Jewish people, the Jewish nation, Jewish individuals. That's what this is for. This is intimidation of Jewish people. I'm making this clear. I'm using this article here for a point. I am appalled by the scenes outside of a Das Torah synagogue in Los Angeles. Intimidating Jewish congregants is dangerous, unconscionable, anti-Semitic, and un-American, Biden said on X. Americans have a right to peaceful protest, but blocking access to a house of worship and engaging in violence is never acceptable. Let me tell you something right now. There is a reason that Joe Biden is finally coming out and at least sometimes, acknowledging the hatred by these protesters of the Jewish community, Jews in general, and Israel specifically, because he's trying to split the baby politically. He's trying to placate the traditional Jewish population that supports the Democrat Party, and he's trying to placate the anti-Jewish population that has, to some degree, supported the Democrat Party. He has his own radicals in his party. By the way, I hesitate to even phrase it that way because the radicals in his party have become the mainstream of the Democrat Party, unfortunately. This is the truth. This is how much power, how much influence now that the squad and other sympathizers in that party have wielded over the Democratic Party. And this is why Joe Biden, someone who does not have a an original thought in his mind other than to get elected and stay elected, is trying to placate both sides. This is exactly why he's coming out now. But I'll tell you right now, because I speak to some of his supporters, Jewish supporters, that are appalled that he is not more outspoken and more forceful against this type of Jew hatred. And they're thinking about certainly not voting for him and maybe voting for Trump because they are so angry. They are incensed at his inability to call this out for what it is, Jew hatred and violence against Jews. The violent clashes outside the Adas Torah synagogue in Los Angeles are appalling, California Governor Newsom said on X. There is no excuse for targeting a house of worship. Such anti-Semitic hatred has no place in California. Well, isn't that nice from the wannabe president of the United States, Gavin Newsom? By the way, I watched him post-debate last week, and this guy, like I said a long time ago, he's simply waiting for a chink in the armor. He's waiting for something to come crashing down and looking for that breach. He's looking for the ability to insert himself into the presidency of the United States, into the Oval Office, whether it's this cycle or not. Now, again, is that prophetic? No. But the point is, he is trying to be coy. He is trying to be the knight in shining armor now. He is trying to show how much he defends and supports Joe Biden, and it's a crock of you know what. This man wants to be president more than he wants to breathe. And all of these things now, he's doing the same thing. He's trying to split the baby here. He's going to say a few niceties about protecting Jews in this country. In the meantime, he's going to say the same types of things about, I guarantee it, about all the hatred towards Muslims in this country. These people try to split the difference all day long because they stand for nothing other than themselves. Jewish and Muslim advocacy groups say the war has led to skyrocketing hate crimes and bias incidents. The Anti-Defamation League reports that anti-Semitic Semitic incidents were up 140% in 2023 compared to the prior year. You think so? No kidding. They are skyrocketing. We are seeing the anti-Israel, the anti-Jewish hatred. We've seen it across the campuses. And by the way, I want to say right now, I talked to one of my contacts at the California Highway Patrol just the other day, and we were talking about the amazing job the CHP did at not only at UCLA, but I'm talking about UCLA, how they cleaned that mess out. But we are seeing this I'm talking about, I mean, these people on these college campuses, not just in the college campuses, but all over the country and all types of protests, are praising what Hamas did on October 7th, advocating for the destruction, the elimination of the Jewish state. That's happening in this country as we speak. It's happening now. And why this is important? I'm going to get to that in 1 second. I'm going to finish up with 2 short paragraphs here. Rabbi Herzl Aludian of the nearby JEM Community Center in Beverly Hills told KCAL, a local station in LA, violence doesn't belong here, and lamented what he saw as a double standard. I don't think the Jewish people would go in front of a mosque, or the Christian people would go in front of a mosque and do such a thing, he said. Nobody would accept this. But here, when it comes to Jews in Israel, everything is kosher, everything is okay.